Welcome to my channel. Animal Team, subscribe to my channel and like it. Today we want to tell you about our younger brothers, who sometimes saved a person's life at the cost of their lives. These interesting stories about animals from real life can touch everyone's soul. After all, you never know how your fate will turn out and who will have to save your life. We have collected various sad and funny stories about pets and wild animals from all over the world. Number 1. In the USA, Vinny the cat saved his family. When the house was filled with carbon monoxide, he jumped on his sleeping mistress, began scratching her while loudly meowing. When the hostess barely woke up and could barely get out of bed, she got to the phone and called 911. If it wasn't for Vinny the cat, who was screaming and scratching, we wouldn't be here today, the hostess said. The family believes that the gas leak occurred due to a breakdown of the gas distribution system in the basement of the house. According to the rescuers, 5 minutes and this story would have a sad end. Number 2. Dog Tang rescued 92 sailors stranded. In 1919, a ship named Ethe crashed into rocks and ran aground. There were 93 sailors on board and a Tang, a ship's dog of the Newfoundland breed. After one of the sailors was swept out to sea, the sailors handed a rope in the teeth of Tang and he jumped into the water and went to land. To the surprise of the sailors, the dog reached the ground holding the rope in his teeth. All 92 sailors survived and were taken to a safe place. Tang was later awarded a medal for bravery. Number 3. In Krasnoyarsk, a dog saved its owner. A young man went into the river to swim. The water was cold and his legs cramped, which caused him to start drowning. When the guy completely disappeared into the water, a Labrador named Ran, who was sleeping on the shore, rushed into the water with lightning speed. The dog tried to grab the owner by the clothes, but it didn't work out. Then he grabbed the owner's hand with his teeth and dragged him to the shore. Number 4. In a coastal village, a fire broke out in one of the old wooden houses at night. A young mother and her 5 children from 11 to 2 years old were on fire. They were sleeping peacefully. But Katie's house cat smelled the smoke in time, climbed under the hostess's blanket and began to scratch her painfully, trying to wake her up. The hostess threw the cat away and turned to the other side. But the cat didn't give up until she woke up the woman. The evacuation of children has begun. Everyone was saved, except the cat itself. The house burned to the ground along with Katie's belongings and saved everyone. Residents of the village collected money, things for the victims of the fire, arranged them for the night. But the Savior herself could not even be buried. Number 5. In Austria, Mandy the goat saved her master. Farmer Noel Osborne fell and injured his hip. He was too far away from everyone who could hear his screams and come to help. Noel lay in the open air for 5 days with a broken hip. But how did he survive? He was rescued by a goat named Mandy, who lay down next to him and warmed the owner. In addition, the goat fed him with her milk, thereby she helped the farmer to survive in the conditions of cold, rainy nights. Noel Osborne was rescued by friends on the sixth day. Number 6. In the 90s in Novosibirsk, an ordinary cat prevented the death of its owner, a big businessman. Climbing under his car, she didn't want to get out of there in any way. Then the man himself climbed under the car to get the pet. Imagine his surprise when he found that a package was glued to the bottom of the car. The sappers called and determined that it was a bomb connected to a pager. Fortunately, they managed to neutralize it. Later it was found out that the cat saved the owner's life just half an hour before the possible tragedy. Number 7. In the Moscow region, a shepherd sacrificed his life to save the owner and her 5-year-old daughter. A woman was walking a young dog at dusk, when suddenly the dog rushed forward and clung with its teeth to a bare wire hanging from a power line support. From a strong electric shock, the dog immediately died. According to electricians, if it wasn't for the dog, either the girl or her mother could have received a fatal electric shock. Number 8. In the USA, a rabbit managed to warn the hostess about a prowling thief. In Wisconsin, a woman told police that she woke up because a rabbit was drumming its paws, as it always does in the presence of a stranger. The woman jumped up, screamed, and thereby scared off the thief who entered the house. Number 9. In Germany, a cat rescued a baby left on the street at night in winter. With its loud meowing, the cat attracted the attention of passers-by, and thanks to this, the baby was safely taken to a local hospital. The newborn's health is no longer in danger. It is not known where the boy's mother is. Number 10. Doberman Khan did not have time to stay in the new house for 4 days, as he had already saved his owner's 17-month-old daughter. Charlotte was playing in the backyard of the house when suddenly Khan started growling. As it turned out later, Khan saw a royal brown snake in the grass. He tried to push the girl aside to get her away from that place, but he failed. Then he gently took her by the diaper and threw her 1 meter behind him. Khan's sudden movement scared the snake, and it bit him on the paw, but after the medical care provided to him, the Doberman hero fully recovered. Number 11. A cat named Padding saved the life of his mistress Amy Young right on the same day he was taken home from a homeless shelter. The girl suffered from diabetes, and when she had an attack, she fell into a diabetic coma. As soon as this happened, Padding immediately began to bite and push the hostess until she came to her senses a little. Amy was very weak and therefore could not loudly call her son Ethan, who was sleeping in the next room. Then the cat ran into Ethan's room and started biting and pushing him until he woke up and called the rescue service for his mother. All doctors recognized that the cat saved the woman's life. Number 12. A pit bull dog named Kilo saved his owners. Arriving home after another run, American Justin Becker and his girlfriend heard a knock on the door. When they opened, a man dressed in a delivery service uniform was standing on the doorstep, saying that his scanner was broken and asked if he could enter the house to use their pen and hand them a package. As soon as the guy crossed the threshold, the delivery immediately turned into a robbery. Without thinking twice, the the pitbull rushed at the robber armed with a pistol. The robber managed to shoot the 12-year-old dog in the head, but the bullet ricocheted off his skull and exited in the neck area without hitting vital organs. 3 days later, after the medical care, Kilo was already walking on the street. Number 13. A pig saved a woman during a heart attack. In 1998, Joanne Altsman had a heart attack while on vacation in Pennsylvania. Lulu, her daughter's pig, ran out of the house and lay down right on the road, thereby stopping traffic. The pig tirelessly tried to help the woman. She returned home to check on Joanne and then ran back to the street for help. As a result, she managed to attract attention to herself. One man stopped the car and followed the pig into the house, where he found a woman lying on the floor and, realizing what had happened, called an ambulance. Number 14. German Shepherd Buddy saved his beloved master. Joe Stallnecker took Buddy in when he was only 8 months old. Joe also taught him how to use the phone to call 911 when he started experiencing symptoms of impending seizures. If Joe loses consciousness and is unable to call the rescue service, then Buddy will have to call the rescue service by pressing the quick call button with his teeth. In 2008, the rescue service received a call, but no one spoke at the other end of the line, and only someone could be heard whining loudly and howling. Paramedics arrived at the scene a couple of minutes later and found Joe Stallnecker unconscious on the floor of his own house. A couple of days later, Joe got out of the hospital. Thus, the shepherd saved a man's life. Number 15. Willie the parrot saved a 2-year-old girl, Hannah Quask, who would have suffocated if not for the reaction of the bird. Megan Howard, the baby's nanny and the parrot's owner, made a pie, put it on the table to cool down and went to the toilet. While in the toilet, she suddenly heard that the parrot was shouting loudly like these words, "Mom! Baby! Mom! Baby!" Megan ran into the kitchen and saw a half-eaten pie, and next to it a girl with already blue lips who choked. The woman quickly performed the Heimlich maneuver and the girl herself spat out a piece of pie. For saving the girl, the parrot Willie was presented with an award by the local Red Cross service. Number 16. Jersey Cocker clung to the trousers of his owner Tom Owen when he was heading to a friend to fly on his private plane. Usually a quiet and calm dog whined and growled menacingly. Noticing that the owner was about to leave, the dog bit him on the leg, causing the anger of the whole family, and he eventually did not go anywhere. And in the morning it became known that a friend crashed on a plane, crashing into a rock. Number 17. A case from Russia. A mutt saved several families from an earthquake at once, who fed her. Suddenly the dog began to howl hysterically under the doors of houses. Residents were forced to leave, and at this time the walls collapsed. Number 18. Golden Retriever Toby saved his mistress. While at home, 45-year-old Debbie Parkhurst was eating an apple and suddenly choked on a piece that blocked her airway. The woman began to choke. At that moment, her 2-year-old golden retriever knocked her to the floor and started jumping on the mistress's chest. Thus, Toby the dog did something similar to the Heimlich maneuver until a piece of apple flew out of her throat. After that, he began to lick the woman's face so that she did not lose consciousness. Number 19. A rabbit saved a person suffering from diabetes from childhood from a coma. In the UK, Simon Stiegel fell into a coma while watching TV. His pet rabbit Dory saw this and jumped on his chest, hitting him hard. Victoria, Simon's wife, noticed Dory's strange behavior, realized what had happened, and called an ambulance.no. 20. English Cocker Spaniel Honey saved his master's life. One day, Michael Bosch and his dog Honey got into an accident on an SUV. Michael soon realized that he and Honey were trapped in an overturned car. Somehow the man was able to release the dog into the wild so that she could bring someone to help, even though he did not really believe in it. A 5-month-old English Cocker Spaniel attracted the attention of a man half a mile from the overturned car and led him to the scene of the accident. Later, rescuers said that if it hadn't been for Honey, Michael would have died. Number 21. In Thailand, in Phuket, the elephant Ning Nong saved the life of an 8-year-old girl Amber Mason. She was vacationing with her mom and stepfather and made friends with a 4-year-old elephant named Ning Nong. The place where they settled was covered by a tsunami. One day, while playing on the beach with other elephants, Ning Nong sensed something was wrong and ran back to the girl, so when the tsunami hit the city, the little girl was not hurt because Ning Nong sheltered her from the elements with his own body. Number 22. Chihuahua Chi Chi saved the lives of 2 women. Mary Lane and her husband were relaxing on the beach, and with them was their Chihuahua named Chi Chi. He had a very calm personality and was sitting on a chair. But suddenly the dog jumped up and ran along the beach, barking loudly and dragging a small chair on a leash along the sand, to which he was tied. The owners chased him and saw 2 elderly ladies who were caught by storm waves and drowned in the water, unable to get ashore. Mary and her husband quickly dragged the ladies ashore. Returning back to the place of rest, the couple saw Chi Chi sleeping peacefully in his chair. Number 23. Beluga Mila saved a 26-year-old diver when he took part in free diving competitions during which it is impossible to use any breathing equipment. The competition was held in a 6-meter deep pool among whales. At the same time, the water was cooled to the temperature of water in the Arctic. When the diver wanted to return to the surface, he felt that his legs were cramped from the cold and he could not move them. And then the beluga took the legs of the beluga neatly with her teeth and raised them to the surface. Belugas, like dolphins, have telepathy and red minds, which saved the diver's life. Number 24. Dolphins rescued swimmers from a shark in the coastal waters of New Zealand. In 2004, 4 people escaped death from a great white shark attack thanks to a group of dolphins that began swimming around them in circles until the shark lost interest in them and swam away. At first, the swimmers thought that the dolphins were just playing with them, but they quickly realized that in fact these intelligent animals had saved them from a 3-meter white shark trying to break through the ring. Number 25. Lions rescued a girl from kidnappers in Ethiopia in 2005. On the way home from school, a 12-year-old girl was abducted by 4 men. A few days later, the kidnappers met 3 lions who drove away the intruders who abandoned the girl. But the lions didn't do her any harm. When the police finally found the girl, the predators just left. Number 26. A dog saved a man from drowning in Spain. A chocolate Labrador named Nanook noticed a drowning man in the port of Malaga and brought his owner to the scene. The thin man, who looked to be 60 years old, was almost frozen and was close to drowning. If it wasn't for the dog, he would hardly have survived in this situation. Later, the Labrador received praise from the Port Authority. Number 27. Sully's cat saved a man during a house fire in Australia in 2014. Craig Jeeves was sleeping at his house when the fire started. Suddenly the tabby cat Sally jumped on his head and began to scream. Jeeves woke up just in time to get out of the house, which soon burned down completely. Number 28. A horse named Carrie saved her owner, mother of 2 children, Fiona Boyd. She was alone on the family farm when she suddenly heard the cries of a calf outside the window. When she went outside, she saw that the calf had lost its mother and could not find her among the other cows. She decided to help him and take the calf to his mother in the barn. But Mom noticed her calf earlier and misunderstood Fiona's gesture, believing that the woman had taken her calf and wanted to kill him. The cow rushed at the woman, knocking her down, and then began to stomp on her. Fiona was lying on the ground, covering her head with her hands, but when the trampling stopped, she looked up and saw that her 15-year-old horse named Carrie, who was nearby, began kicking a cow. While the horse was distracting the cow, Fiona managed to crawl to safety under an electric fence. Number 29. In the USA, the state of Arkansas, a calf saved a woman from a snake. Janice Wolf was in the back pasture of the farm where she worked, and the 11-month-old calf Watusi suddenly turned to her and blocked the way. She couldn't understand why he was doing this, took him by the horns and tried to lead him out of her way. However, the animal threw up its head, which caused the woman to lose her balance and fall. Then, when Janice saw a poisonous snake in the grass, she realized that the snake was exactly where her foot would have been if it hadn't been for Watusi. That's how the calf saved a woman's life.